rested. Did some short, sharp rides, and then went to Masters Nationals. And, got the time trial on Thursday and then day off, and I was really hoping to get on the podium for the time trial. I was hoping maybe I could win. It was my third time on this Garneau bike. It's super fast. Wasn't sure if I'd be able to put together a winning ride. Owen Schott was there, the guy who won last year, I think 4th place, Jonathan Jacobs. So we start, and I've got Owen right behind me. And I was like, man, this sucks. And, you go out, and it's going to have some rolling hills, and you do one sharp right-hand turn. You go out more over kind of some rough road. You do a U-turn, and you make your way back. My goal was averaging 400. I wasn't sure how I would do. It was really hot that day. But I knew if I wanted to win, I had to be revving the engine. And I didn't want to get caught too early. So I went out maybe a little too hot. But when you look at the power, I started my warm-up, and I think there's like a slow glitch here. The first half, I normalized 402, so that's out to the turnaround. Averaged 389, took me just under 20 minutes. So moving pretty well, and happy with that, but it was probably a little hot. Kind of VO2 maxing according to the numbers set. I don't regret how I started. I didn't want to get caught, right? But everybody said the turnaround, man, and you head back. It's almost 2 minutes slower. But look at the watts. The watts went down, averaged 350. That really hurt me. There's some points I'm coasting here. It just was not the best way back. I'm below my threshold, and I'm just trying to ramp it up over these hills and really just keep it going. And good finish. This is one good last minute. Okay, so I finished strong at least, but it was hard. I came in third, got the bronze medal, get on the podium. I was trashed afterwards. And plug for a sponsor of mine, Elevated Legs. My legs were crushed. And I don't know if it was the heat, if it was the effort. I haven't done a 30K time trial like this in a long time. It's a lot of watts is going on. I went back and I laid in my bed and I felt like I just rode 4 hours. Luckily, I brought Elevated Legs. They're the space legs. They puff up. They give you all the circulation. They massage your legs. You can, the different ways, the different chambers, the different ways you can control them. And the data shows that, so like a level 7, it feels amazing. It's the best for recovery. But you put it on level 10 and it's more like a deep tissue and you alternate those. 30 minutes in those things, man, you get up afterwards and you're like, wow, it is next level recovery. So I use those on Thursday and Friday. And Saturday is what I came for. I got third in the road race last year and we're on the same course as, Nationals does the same course 2 years in a row. And there's a finishing climb that's about a minute and a half. And last year I was with Jonathan Jacobs from Bissell and Owen Schott of Velobrew. And I was trying to get away. The wheels were falling off. I had done too much work. I got in a break early and then tried to go solo, not giving the race the respect it deserved. And when those guys bridged up to me with a few others, we shelled other people. I tried to get away, and then I kind of led us up into the climb, hoping I could just drop people on it. And Owen attacked past me, and Jonathan eventually was like behind me, and then Owen was gone, and then Jonathan passed me, and I came in third. So I just misplayed it and was disappointed with that result, but you use up those matches too early, and you don't have anything when the big guns go off, and that was really the time trial on Thursday reminded me, it's hot, it's muggy. You need to save your efforts, and that's exactly the motto I went into this race with, that when things went down, I wanted to have some serious firepower. I race aggressively usually, and I love to attack. And I said, I'm going to let everything go up the road early. So be it. If somebody wins that way, I'll be disappointed, but I don't think that's going to happen on this course because there's long stretches where you could be a minute up and you can be seen. It's rolling and the course can zap you if you've been out there for a while. This is the first part of the race, and I average 205 watts for an hour and 11 minutes. I mean, I'm in active recovery or, going anaerobic, just following moves. And I slotted myself back 12 people, let's say, so I could just watch the race. And I was talking to Hunter East, and shout out to him, my teammate who won his age group in not only the road race, but the crit. I was thinking I was sitting like 8 people, 8 back. But when you're 8 back, you have a couple guys go off the front, and the next few don't really chase. You're kind of left to chase. And he had, the night before, was like, sit a dozen people back. You can see just the race unfold. So I sat there, and, people would look around at each other, and then people would chase. And when it's nationals, everyone's there to win. Everybody wants that jersey. Let the chase form, and then you slot back in, and you're able to do, when people are doing 600 watts, you're doing 400 watts. People doing 800 watts, you're doing 600 watts. Those little matches you save. There are a couple efforts, sure, you got to go in the red and you can't get dropped and you need to stay there, which is why the normalized is 120 watts higher than the average. But just the amount of energy I was saving was incredible. And then as we're about to finish the second lap, the sky opens up and it starts pouring down. We come up the climb, and as we're crossing the start-finish line, the officials say, everybody off the course. Take cover. And we're like, well, where do you want us to go? They say, go get in your cars. So we ride off the course, and we're like, man, this is kind of odd. I lean my bike on the car, and it just starts coming down. And it is pouring outside. And it was a really good call. I mean, the feed zone got trashed. Tents were flying. It was a really good call on their part. So they said wait 15 to 20 minutes. As we wait about 15 minutes, the rain kind of comes to a trickle. This is so weird. I'm sitting in my car, just ate a snack in the middle of a bike race. I'm really wondering what everyone's motivation is going to be when we get back out there, because we need to catch those guys. And you see people kind of emerging from their cars, and the moto comes around, hey, we're going to start in 10 minutes. We're only doing 2 more laps instead of 3 laps. So we've got about 25 miles. I left out of the story. One guy, Jacob Tremblay, who I had raced against when he was racing for Kelly Benefits years ago, I'd went up the road. He attacked early, and I followed him. I was going to follow moves. And then he attacked again, and I just let him go. He was up the road, and then a guy attacked through the feed zone. Not the feed zone. He attacked through the feed zone on the backside. It was just where they're handing out water. He attacked through there. Nobody really chased, and I don't think everyone saw that he was going up the road. He hadn't reached Jacob by the time they called everybody off the course. So when we restart, we all go to the start-finish line. Jacob Tremblay starts. Then it was like a 25-second lag till this next guy, Bruno, goes. Bruno takes off. We have a minute and 45, and then we take off. Well, luckily there were a couple teams there, and they started pulling, and we were motoring along, and the gap came down pretty quickly. I mean, we only had 25 miles to do this. On the last lap, about 10 miles to go, we make the catch. I'm like, okay, now we're racing again, and this is it's on. There's some harder efforts, nothing too crazy. This is the elevation here. So as you're going over things, you can see here's probably 750 watts. I'm keeping it under 800 watts. I'm never really burning a big match. My biggest thought is do not bring Owen Schott to the finish, because I coach Owen, and I know that Owen has freakish power. And I also know, though, that Owen was doing a little bit too much work early. Owen was trying to bridge up to the guys in the lead. He was making some moves. And at one point I said to him, hey, man, you need to chill out because you're current national champion. So when you, take a sip of your water bottle, everybody's, ready to go. Everybody's watching you, right? When you have that bullseye on you, you got to be thinking when you light a match, it needs to be sparking some dynamite. So that was in my head. If I do something, I need to make sure this move is doing something for me. I'm accomplishing something. So we're going over these rollers. I'm sitting back, and it's one of those moments, man. I always tell my athletes that you need to have intuition. And a lot of times you can't think and try and process something. If it feels like it's the moment, you need that sixth sense of racing. Don't question it, just do it. and we're hitting a roller, we're on the last lap, and there's a good climb after it, and the front swells, and I have so much momentum. It is like just pulling me back right up, and I'm like, I'm just going to hit it, and I just gas it right here. I just attack up this hill. It's like a little roller. It's just a little kicker, and I attack up it, and I look back, and who do I see head down, coming after me? Owen. And I'm like, man. I thought he had the whole group with him, though. But as he rolls to the side a little bit, it's not the whole group. It's him and 2 other guys. I push on for a second. I'm like, well, I'm going to wait up for these guys. And because I can see behind them, we've got a gap. And it's quickly 20 seconds. We start trading pulls, and I'm not sure how committed I'm going to be to this move. I don't know these other 2 guys. Can we stay away? And when I'm pulling, I feel like I haven't done anything all race, and I hadn't. And I just feel really fresh. All these pulls did not feel like VO2 max anaerobic efforts. And at one point, I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to hold this off. One guy was not feeling it, and he's like, I can't do this. And at one point, I said to him, like, man, you can do this. I know you can do this, and you have to. This is nationals. This is the podium right here. And afterwards, he told me, like, man, you actually sounded like you really believed in me that I could do this, and like it really helped. Finally, we're going over, little climbs, and I'm trying to save as much as I can. The thought in my mind, all right, if we make it to this climb, I need to get over the climb with Owen because I know I can out-sprint him. So don't make the mistake that I made last year and go into the climb first. And when he goes, I just need to be ready to grit my teeth and hang on for dear life. And so this is from when I made the attack till the end of the race. We normalized almost 440 watts for 23 minutes, 370 average. I really hadn't done a ton of work until now. So I'm probably 2,000 kilojoules in. Usually, 3 hours in, I'm at 3,000. So I was so proud of myself for managing my energy expenditure. So we can see these guys coming behind us, and they are just like barreling down, and you're playing the game. The 4 of us are trying to stay away from the big group, and we're riding, but we're all not trying to totally ride ourselves out of this win. We line up, and the one guy who was blowing up is like, I'll take 4th, because he wasn't pulling through, and Owen was like, if you don't pull, you get 4th. And he's like, okay. And I think he thought maybe we would try and drop him or something. So he finally is like, hey, I'm going to try and get us to the bottom of this climb. And I'm sort of shifting back a little bit, and I couldn't get this one guy that I didn't know to come in front of me. So it's the guy who's going to take 4th, Owen, myself, and some other rider. Unknown. This is the thing. You don't know what hand he holds. We hit the base of the climb, and Owen looks back. He's like, we're going to get caught. I just didn't say anything, and I was like, I'm not. I'm sitting here, man. Like, I'm hoping that he just decides to take off and try and drop us, and boom, Owen shoots out, and he flies up to the inside left of this climb. The climb curves up to the right, it flattens out, then we're going to curves to the left, goes uphill, turns to the right, and then there's a flat area for a 10-second sprint to the finish. Boom, Owen shoots out like a cannon, and I'm just on his wheel. That it's drafty enough that I luckily shoot right in behind him, and I'm seated, and he's standing, he's throwing the bike, and he's just taking off, and I'm sitting here, and I'm doing over 500 watts. This is probably 750, 600, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, I can manage this. I can do this. The minute and a half I got to do it, and I'm gonna take him in the sprint. The guy behind me, I don't know what he's doing. I can't control what's going on behind me right now. We get halfway up the climb, or maybe 35, 40% of the climb. Owen pulls to the right. And it totally throws me for a loop because I did not see this coming. So now all of a sudden I'm on the front, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, we got to keep going because this group is chasing us. They're probably almost hitting the base of the climb now. I need to keep this thing rolling, but I cannot have Owen slot in behind me, draft off me to then punk me before the flat section. And I got this other guy who maybe he's a sprinter, and it turns out that he is, but I don't know that at the time. This is where I'm just keeping it rolling. It's 600 watts, and I'm thinking, what is my next move? What do I do here? As we're climbing this thing, I'm going to push it just a little bit more. It's not going to kill me, but maybe it'll crack somebody else. And I just push it. So, this is going from high fives, low sixes into mid sevens, and a little gap opens up. And then very quickly, I push it, and I'm at almost 1,000. It was just the time. I could see Owen's looking at the other guy, and the other guy's looking at him as who's going to close this gap, and I just gassed it. So I hold it there for just a couple seconds, and then I'm in like 800 watts, and I just hold 800 watts for 15 seconds. At this point, I'm almost at the top, probably just over the top, and I'm gone. I haven't felt this feeling in a really long time. It was, elation. It was surprise. I'm seeing the finish line, and I'm just keep pedaling, and this felt so much easier. 500 watts felt so easy afterwards after doing that. So it was 2 minutes, 18 seconds, normalized 600. Crossing the line is like, I almost feeling like crazy emotions right now thinking of it. It was just so much anticipation up to that race, and to actually win it, and to win a national champions jersey, and to be able to stand on that podium. It was an incredible feeling. And I'm super proud of that, and I'm so thankful to everybody that helped me get there. It's, I'm like definitely feeling some emotions even just thinking back to that. But my team is an incredibly supportive group of people. My partner Chris is the most supportive person I could ever ask for. Just a community of cyclists that have reached out to me afterwards and had really awesome things to say about this season, and working hard and trying to stay focused. And I always say focus pains success. And, it has me hungry. I really wanted to go to Maryland for the Cat 1 Nationals. It's just, amateur road nats, any age group. You get the guys that are eventually going to be world tour there. It's always interesting looking back. I look back on the 2012 road nats, and it's like Ty Magner, Robin Carpenter, just big name riders that you get to go and battle with, and it's a really hard race. But getting this Masters jersey makes me want to try and help someone on my team, whether it's Johnny, Patrick, Brandon, myself. If Chad came, Andy came, go on a long road trip and compete for being the best in the nation out of anyone that's no age group. Bring out the young guns, the ones that I could be their father. Yeah, it's a great feeling. So I'm really proud of that race. And again, thank you to everybody that's had something to do with that win. I had a great night. Went out with Hunter and a couple other riders that night, and ate some good food and got ready for the crit the next day. And the crit file was boring. It was just not my day. It was a flat and fast course. There's, Owen got third, which was awesome. I just couldn't seem to do much without everybody chasing me down, and there was no feature. I jokingly say I needed a hill, but I really needed a hill to help me out, to split the group up. The sections that were long weren't windy enough. There was tailwind on the long section, and the headwind section, I thought we got away a couple times. Just couldn't make the rubber band snap, and a couple corners would definitely help people catch up to me. I'm not the fastest person around the corners by any means. Got 1 gold, 1 bronze. Extremely happy with that weekend. Extremely motivated to keep working. Feels good to be back in Memphis, back at home. I've been trying to work remotely while on the road, and just being back here at home base and trying to push things forward as I continue to try and grow my business and trying to get my hands in other entrepreneurial ventures and continue to meet more people in this new city. It's been an awesome trip, but here we are, mid-June, doing a couple rides to stay sharp, doing some group rides. There's a 5:30 group ride at the Peddler that I think is awesome. I'm not the biggest fan of group rides if you actually have a workout to do. The only thing that a ride like the Peddler is going to do for you is keep you sharp. So if you're doing that to gain fitness, I guarantee you that's not the ride for you. I'm happy to explain that in more detail to people, but group rides are not great training. There's a few caveats to that, but I think most people are kind of catching that drift when they watch these podcasts or watch these videos. So, Going to take a week off next week, get that rest weekend, and then start looking towards nationals. And now I'm thinking maybe I should really focus on that time trial also. So I ordered a disc wheel, and I'm going to get a skin suit because I tore mine at OKC. So I did this one in a kit, which is not fast. Shout out to Nalgene that now sponsors our team, giving us awesome bottles. If you're buying bottles, they support local and pro racing. Why don't you support them? Elevated Legs, thank you again. Huge recovery help. Science and Sport, hashtag Fueled by Science. Their gels are incredible. I'm going to leave it at that. Try some other things, but you can't beat it. And here's a discount code below for you. DNA Racing, I love you guys. Garneau, thank you for the kits and the bike. It's so fast. Both of them are. The Gen X A1 and the time trial bike. Thank you guys for watching, and email me if you have questions. Have a great day.